presentable this week.
Always look presentable.
Okay, these last couple episodes, I was looking like a hot mess.
Well, if we put this one first, then we'll prepare the others that maybe we don't look the best in the next video.
Y'all,
It's been a
FYI, you
long,
look like a hot mess mom.
it's been a long 4 days at home with the kids. So
Honestly,
just give us a pass.
yeah. But I feel good because, like, cleaned the house, rearranged, took a
Yeah, you were
shower.
super productive yesterday. I was productive today, not yesterday. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I had the energy. And then today, I'm like, all I want to do is read. And that's exactly what I've been doing. So
Yep.
I am going to mop the floor today because I didn't get around to that yesterday. But
Snow makes it hard too. I'm like, I mop, and then it's like
disgusting. Yeah. And
so
it's like,
fast.
I don't know if it's still snowing on your end, but like it's hardcore snowing on my end still. So
Hmm.
I'm
Yep.
not even going to go outside and shovel. I'm not even going to touch it. So wherever y'all are at, hoping that you're staying safe and warm and not
And
going
yeah,
anywhere if it's
warm.
snowing hardcore. Because it
Yeah.
finally hit us here in Nebraska.
Yeah, we had like the longest record of like no snow.
Yeah.
It was like we were almost going on like 11 months from like the last time it had snowed,
Yes.
which is like unreal. We've had such a warm winter.
Yeah.
And
Now
that
I'm
stupid
scared for the summer.
groundhog came out of his hole. And he said 6 more weeks of winter. And I shit you not, the next week it was finally like winter in Nebraska. And I
And
was
did you
like,
see that he like bit the dude's ear? I laughed. He was like, it
we're
was
gonna
so
have to
good.
touch on that when we like talk about Scythe and Sparrow and the rabid raccoon too, because
I love Barbara so much, and I've always wanted a trash panda. My mother-in-law used to have trash pandas as pets when she
all
was
right,
younger.
we're gonna have to discuss that because
So
it was
excited.
it was great. It was great.
It was
So
great.
prequel to another episode, Scythe and Sparrow. But today we're doing Anathema Legacy by Nick Roberts. Insert image here. I actually have the book in my cart. So,
Yep,
because
I gotta do the same.
I like to have all of Nick's books,
Mhm.
and there are two I don't have, and this is one of them.
Yep, I have to
Um,
get one, two, three. I think a total
Three.
of four now. Like if I'm including Anathema Legacy.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So we'll
it'll
have
happen.
to, we'll get paid and we'll be like, give us our
Little grubby
books.
hands.
And then
Give
I'll
me
get to
those
read
books,
it
Nick.
again. Again.
Oh my
This
goodness.
one was good. So like I always talk about like how Nick's writing like is so scary because he talks about like real life
Yeah.
trauma and like addiction and like all of these things. And like I felt it was really heavy in this book.
Yeah. So I mean, because like
Like
we, well,
more
let's
so
first,
than the first.
yeah, let's first start. Like we were privileged to be in the art group for when this
Yes.
book started coming out. So thank you so much,
Thank
Nick,
you,
again.
Nick.
Thank you, Nick, because like we love this man. We love his work. He's great, and he keeps fucking dissing us about how he's the money's coming for us.
Anathema.
Anathema.
Like my child can say it and you can't. I'm like,
So we were able to get into this, and so we've it's been a while since we've read it, because it came we got in the arc
like
how long ago?
November?
November-ish.
Yeah.
So and then we of course we posted our like Goodreads and Amazon reviews, and we're getting around to actually recording about it. So
And now the book's out, so we can do like a review that has spoilers.
yeah,
Like,
because like
uh,
it's hard for us to do like a non-spoiler type of review. We've tried, and like I
it's
think we're okay, but we want to talk about more. You
more
know?
and like the details into like how he ties in his other books. And so, like,
Yes.
it's really difficult for me to do like a non-spoiler review for almost any book, but like I find it
Yeah.
really hard with Nick's books. So
Yes. I think it's just we get so excited about him.
we do,
You
we
know,
do. We get all
he really
giddy.
hit me. His books, like there hasn't been many books that scare me, and like his books have.
They scare me like
Yeah.
in multiple ways.
Yeah, they scare us and
Yeah,
yeah,
they do like truly scare me. I mean, even from like I feel like he's like upped his gore level a bit
yeah,
in this book, So like that was scary. Like the PTSD situations that the main character Derek has are scary. Like it's scary how Marin like wants to recreate his whole
The family.
family dynamic. Like that's like
Yeah.
it's just it's scary on different levels. Like I was even scared that like Derek was gonna relapse,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like and like knowing Nick's books, I didn't think that that was gonna happen, but like that's like a constant fear when it's like being reiterated throughout the book how like
Yes.
traumatizing this is. And like I didn't catch this the first time I read the book, but I caught it the second time. The whole like dinner party that Marin throws is for his sobriety anniversary.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so fucked up on
Yeah.
so many
Dude,
different levels.
she's a
And I guess I'm like,
parent.
am I talking to Marin or am I talking to Daisy? Who is
Because like
here?
really in this book with Legacy, when you first read Anathema in general, you're like, okay, so she's just playing both parts. Like that's just how she is. Like she
Yes.
grabbed the kids or whatever. But in Legacy, it's so much like, okay, are these actually? She actually like split in a way. Like I was questioning that.
I think so because like the way her like body even like changes and like her
Yeah,
structure and like you can like see it in her face. It is almost like she has
her
like a split
spine, like,
personality, but I also think that she's like an entity of sorts. I don't
oh
think
yeah.
she's human. So,
Well, I mean, and this is
but
also playing off of the Exorcist. Like she from the Exorcist house, it is
hmm.
definitely one of those like, no, there's something wrong with this child ever since Mama got dragged into the well, right?
Yes.
Was it into the well?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, dragged into the well. So it was like Antichrist type of situation right there.
Vibes I get as well. She's
100%.
anathema to
Yeah,
them, right?
yeah,
So, but like so I want to kind of like run through the book. I won't talk about the whole thing, I
yeah.
promise. Um, but like Dr. Strobel in the beginning was
Oh,
great because you're immediately like, oh, that's like Derek's therapist. Like, cool.
instant anxiety right off the bat because she's
Yep, like
walking through the airport
got the
into the
old
car park.
man saying shit to her. Yeah, she gets to her car and like
And that's just like an anxiety thing for me in general. You're walking through a parking garage, especially coming back
alone as a female and
from an
getting in the car.
airport. Yeah,
Don't
so
we
it's like
all like lock and turn around and check? Because like
I do
I
the whole
did.
like keys in my hand, like
Yeah, like check the back of my car, lock the doors, make sure I'm good to go.
right.
Like, what's that smell? Like,
The fact that did she even check the back of the car? I can't remember. I don't know if she did or
no,
not.
well, she like started like seeing her like shadow in the mirror or
Right. And she's
whatever.
like,
And she was like too frozen to like even turn around. She's just like, I gotta get out of
I
this
gotta get out of yeah.
car.
I was like, okay, cool. Like as long as you can kind of see that and recognize it, and then she dipped out. I wasn't that upset because I'm like, no, because why take the time to turn and then just like I'd be afraid to get
She was
stabbed. Like
like
I would first
frozen in fear, but was like, I've got to like move
go.
right now. And then it was like a great kill because like Marin clearly like runs her over. Like, I mean, it's great. She's like last thing I see was like the tire coming towards my face. I'm like,
Yes.
oh,
And that's like the literally like the
the
prologue.
opening. Yeah, it's like it is the prologue. It's
Yeah.
just little chapter there, and you're like, oh, oh,
It's
okay.
Dr. Strubble. Bye.
But yeah, then we like, we like see Derek and he's like living in Ohio. And like the book starts and he's like in a meeting at AA and he's like
Yeah.
talking very openly. It feels very relatable. Derek's like works at a recovery like place that's like all
Yeah.
about like non-medical detox, but like they keep commenting that like they're being pushed to go towards medical
Yeah.
detox, but like they never I never really got an answer on like why
Mm-mm.
that was important, but I may have missed that. So like I don't know.
I mean, same.
Um I mean maybe just like as a real life scary if they don't go to medical detox, they're gonna lose funding and then it's like where do all these recovering patients go to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um but yeah, so like poor Derek, dude. Like he leaves this meeting and there's West Virginia police out there and he's
Yeah.
like, "What's up?"
Okay. He's like, I haven't been back since everyone died. Like,
Yeah,
nah, you
like,
moved away
why are
for a
you
reason.
here? Um, and they're like, Dr. Strobel, your like childhood therapist died. Somebody stole your file, and like
Yeah.
your name was written in blood all over the crime scene. And he's like,
First reaction, Marin. First
yeah,
reaction.
but then his like PTSD takes over, and he's like,
Yeah.
no, like Marin died when my dad shot her,
Yeah. But then, like, but
and
he's always questioned,
because
though.
their
Like,
bodies were never found, so
yeah,
it's like.
so then hear about this. Like, he's like, she's back. Like,
And
no
he's like
question.
full PTSD triggered.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like that's scary because like you feel for the main character. You're
Oh,
like, oh no. Like, especially after reading the first book, it's like, I thought we escaped this crazy bitch.
yeah. Yeah. And it, like, you get him talking about, like, what he had to go through being a child, having to go through the therapy, moving to a
Hmm.
different town, and trying to be there and just having all those questions of like trying to make friends and then they find out who he actually is and then no one wants to be around
Be
him
friends
because
with
they think,
him.
he's a liar and
Hmm.
oh the boogeyman, Marin,
Even the
they
police are like struggling to
yes.
believe him. Like, they take him to like the Ohio police station and he like tells it all, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, all. And they're
Uh-huh.
kind of like, maybe it's a copycat. And he's like, a copycat? Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
okay, like
the main detective, the chickie, I forget her name, but like she was kind of being like,
Renly,
okay, huh?
Officer Renly,
Renly, yeah, but then it was her.
Eleanor Renly.
Yes, and then it was her uh partner who was being an ass.
Ass. Douglas. Yeah, he didn't give
Yeah.
a shit, which we find out why later, I think. Well, no,
No,
those
no,
are
no, no. Was it him specifically? Was he? Hold on, I'm trying to remember. Was he?
no, Douglas is the West. Douglas and Renly are West Virginia, and then you've
Yes.
got the two cops that are outside the house. That's Ohio police, and
Oh,
that one has
yes.
the we find out why. And like we that kind of like leads into the next scene. They're like, we'll post up at your house, we'll do
Yeah.
a check through. Derek's like, check the closets, man. Like, dude, the even the house
Yeah.
sweep, I was like,
Heart going. My heart was going
because
the
he's
entire book.
having like reflections on like his childhood that whole time. And like, dude, the waking up to the buzzing. And he's like, my phone, my missing phone.
Oh,
Like, oh,
yeah.
it's in the attic. Wait, why would it be in the
Attic.
attic?
Yeah.
And so he like calls the police up to like do a sweep and they go up there and like a funny comment's made about like only thing up there would be like my grandma's
Later.
vibrator,
Yes.
if it's like not my phone. And he goes up there and they like learn that the window's unlocked, the grate's removed
Yes.
from it, and it's like partially open. And Derek passes the fuck out. He is just like so
That's what it really hits
triggered.
him. Like this is her. This
Yeah,
is her.
like this is some sneaky shit that we've seen before. Like, not a fan.
Yeah. And then we
And
pass
then like
over to like Marin. I love it because it's between Derek's point of view and then Marin's POV.
yes, and
Like
it's really interesting when it flips to hers.
yeah, yeah,
So my favorite scene was like right after that when Beth, like one of the AA leaders, gets the text from Derek that like I'm about to relapse, and you're like,
yeah,
oh no, as a reader, like fuck. But then you
yeah.
realize, wait, Derek didn't text that because he's like busy doing other
He doesn't have
shit.
his phone.
And she shows up to the church where they have their meetings, and like every other group member's car is there but Derek's. And she like
Yeah,
walks in and it smells, and like the dog
the dog is
escaped.
like, get me out.
And, like, okay, big old warning sign for me to also get on out
Well,
of
that's what she was
here.
thinking. She's like, no, like
This
what is it?
isn't
She
right.
walks in and was like, the lights don't work. She's like, I'm gonna go.
And then she
She
hears the
starts.
door like seal shut, and it's like,
Yeah, because
uh-oh.
she's like almost to her car, wasn't it? She's almost to her car, and then she sees someone running up, and like
Yes.
clocks her. I was like,
Yeah. So she gets drugged, wake up, and like circle
It's
time.
circle
It's
time.
group therapy time, but we're all tied up and we're all drugged, which like is also just like another fucked aspect of the book.
Yes.
Like that Marin is like, I don't know what she's using, but like they're
Yeah.
loopy when they
Well, it
wake
took
up.
them a while, and like she set them up in the way that they would sit during the regular AA.
Yes,
So like
which is also so
Beth is
fun.
like trying to like she can decipher who was where on the voices and like where it's coming from.
Yes, and then well, then they were like, like Beth started like the hi, I'm Beth, and
Yeah.
like every like so you hear like this like massive list of names, right? And then Marin just starts going one by one, and like this
Has
is
a
where I say I
table
think
set
his
up with all their
gore,
tools. The tools
yeah.
from his dad.
Yes, it's got the initials BS on it, which are Brian Stockton, Derek's dad.
Yeah.
But like the brutality in that scene was very
It was
intense.
great.
It was great. Like it
But
was
like, damn.
well done, but it was go I mean like we've got people puking, you got
Yeah.
people crying, you got people being killed, you got people screaming, Marin's using a chainsaw.
Blood,
Like
guts, everything going everywhere.
yeah, I mean, like she's using everything. A hammer, a
Yeah.
screw, like one by one is just like taking out the group, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
okay.
was like, okay, Mary, we're really stepping it up. And it's all because she wants to take out everybody who's
Who's
helpful.
close to Derek?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she wants,
She wants him at his lowest point.
yeah, she
She
wants
wants
him
that back
solo,
because like
and
he's the one that got away.
yeah, and that's how I see it, right? And like, poor Derek's just in the hospital that whole time because
Yeah.
like. And then the cops come in, they're like, hey, the church burned down with like all of your AA group in it. And your name was written at the car scene or at the crime scene
But we know
in
you were here.
in feces on every car. And like he's like,
What?
Marin.
And it sucks because like Beth was at home trying to like tuck her kids in, and then she had to call her mom to come over to babysit so she could go like help them. And then
I know. And she's like, this is like an often thing, right? That
yeah,
like we lean on each other and like this is why we don't ignore these late texts. And it's like she was so willing to like be there for him. And it
yeah,
was
because
just
she's like, if it was
Marin.
anybody else, like I could usually talk him down, give him a call, text,
Mhm.
whatever. But because it's him, she's like, no, I want to. I'm gonna be there.
Yeah. Um, and okay, so then he like goes to the funeral, which like the funerals,
Yeah,
and it's like that's heavy. Like
yeah.
he's trying to deal with his pain while avoiding like alcohol and narcotics, and he's like clearly struggling. He talks to his sponsor, he tells him he's
Oh,
struggling.
and his sponsor.
I know the like ex-Navy SEAL
I
Mitchell.
love it. I was pissed. Read that whole scene, and I was like, God damn it! Damn it!
But I was like, okay, well, at least he's going with somebody who maybe's like, believes him a bit, even though,
Yeah.
Mitchell's like, when you pray last, and Derek's like,
Ugh.
I don't think it matters with Marin in my life, but okay.
He really
Um,
does help him through, and like, sure, he doesn't like full on believe him at the time, but he's like, I'm here to support you. So whatever you
yes,
need,
and
he's
that's
like,
what
you're gonna
he
come stay with
need.
me.
Mm-hmm. I'll
Meets
feed
the
you. Like,
daughter
you
and
help me clean up my
granddaughter.
house. Yeah. And yeah, he gets to meet like his daughter Christine and the granddaughter May. And it's like the first night Derek is there. And the little girl May like makes comment about like a princess named Daisy. And Derek is like spiraling. And then like also sick panda call out. And that
I was like,
I
and
was
it's a
like,
panda,
oh, the stuffed panda. I was like,
not the stuffed
oh,
panda.
I was like, we are screwed.
We are screwed.
Derek's like, we're in danger. Like Christine, he's like,
Yeah.
May's in danger. You're in danger. And like everybody's kind of like, you've been through a lot, buddy. Let's
Yeah,
just,
because May was like, "Oh yeah, Daisy." Like he was saying, like, "How did you talk to Daisy? What's going on?" She's like, "Yeah, she came up to the window and was watching
mm-hmm.
you sleep on the couch, and I
Yeah,
talked to her,
like,
but I couldn't wake you up." And he's like, "Okay."
oh, yeah. And then they have like, you see Renly's POV, and like, that scene scared me. She's like home
Yeah.
alone and like essentially searching her own house.
Well, she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna like it's my time off. I need this time off. I'm gonna have a drink." She has like a couple drinks, watches her Netflix like reality TV, and then she gets a call from her mom. But then like after she got to the phone or whatever, it's like she starts hearing things, walks into her room and like sees a mannequin and she's like
just on the end of her bed.
gun
I was
out,
like, oh hell
oh, no,
no.
checking everything and of course, but she doesn't check one spot.
The curtains.
Yeah, well, no, I think she
And
does see it. No, she does see it, like, okay, like, I am gonna double check. She sees the mannequin. It's like,
I
okay,
think she
tries to
like
check
sees a
around.
shadow behind
Yeah,
the
and she's like,
curtains because like Marin is sometimes a shadow, which also makes me think like other
entity of some
entity,
sort.
right? But yeah, she's like, dude, like Marin like takes that curtain and is like, you have a greater purpose.
Yeah! I was like, "What
And
do you
like,
mean?"
I know, I'm like, what? And like, she wakes up like
In the trunk?
handcuffed in the trunk, and it's like, oh my
Oh, I'm sorry,
gosh,
and that whole
dude.
scene where she pops out of that trunk and she, like, gets the guy thinking it was gonna be Marin or whatever, like, and tries to get away.
That
I'm
was
talking about, like
crazy because she was so prepared
yes,
to absolutely take out Marin, but like to Marin, for Marin to have somebody else open up the trunk
she
for
knew.
her is diabolical.
Yeah, how these things are just playing out and how Nick is writing them, like, this one don't get me wrong, Anathema was great. I loved it, but Legacy, I feel
I
like
like this one
was
much
a
more.
step up with how it
Hmm.
kinda rounded everything out, and it had my jaw dropping with some of these scenes. I was like, "Damn."
Especially when like Derek's like, don't talk to Daisy, and May's like, well, I'm not supposed to talk about her. Like, it's just like fucking. Well, in the scene where her mom is like, I'm gonna make lunch or whatever, like,
Yes.
tell me what she looks like, and she's like, I'm not supposed to talk about Daisy, and she's like, well, go draw her
Yeah.
in your room, and she like hears her talking, and like here's what I would assume is Daisy.
Yeah.
And like the door is locked, and she's like, open up this door right now. And like she's asking Daisy, like, can I?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like
But at least, like, her like, the mom brain flipped of, like, "We gotta go.
yes, and
We gotta
she
go."
well, after she got her ass dragged around, I mean, for
And then
sure.
the whole kid killing the parent thing,
Yeah,
putting all
so
that
like
again, I was like, "Here we go
it's
again."
like Derek's childhood is replaying out, right? Because like mom is being drug around by Daisy slash Marin, but is Daisy at this point, right?
Yeah.
And you got May there holding a gun,
Saying, like,
and
"I have to kill you if I wanna go to
like you're
save this world."
hurting my friend, like Daisy says you're bad, and it's like the same thing, and it's
Same thing.
just like I felt so bad for Derek and like
Yeah.
May. I was like, no, like,
And Derek's over here, like, throughout this whole time, like, finding out about that May can see her, that Daisy and,
hmm.
Marin are coming after her. He's like, "I'm not gonna let this happen to this kid.
Yeah,
Like, that's
not again.
not again."
And he even says, like, at the end of the book, and like, I'm breaking the cycle
Yeah.
as much as I can, which is like very much used in like addiction and in like
Mhm.
abuse, right? Like, we want to like break the cycle. And so I thought it was really cool that, like, towards the end of the book, like, Derek says that, like,
Yeah.
I'm breaking the cycle. And he says it to May, I believe, like,
Yeah.
when they're in the house, he's like, it's time to like break that cycle.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like it gets wild because Derek sees Marin at a meeting. He's like trying to get the footage. Like, we can kind of like see the shadowy figure. They
Yeah,
go in
because
the
then, like, he has to go and talk, and he's
yeah, he's like
talking,
giving like closing prayer,
and then
closing
sees her in the
speech.
back.
I
Huh?
right. Like I love that his default stress mode is just passing
No.
out, but like also that shows how stressed he truly is,
Yes. Okay,
like
see, but my thing also too is, like, is that him being stressed, or is Marin
no,
doing
I think that's full on
the
PTSD
PTSD, like,
reaction.
stress
I
like that?
like
Okay.
I think so, like
I can
based
see
off
that.
the way it's written. I think
True, because
it's
like, his
like
heart was going and yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's like
The PTSD, like, response.
body shuts down,
Yeah.
right? Like night
Which is
night.
not great.
No, it's not, especially in these really tough times. But they find out that like because everybody has to sign in for a meeting, and she signed in as Ellie Stockton,
His
his
mother.
mom. So yeah, like they end up realize like Derek ends up realizing, because I could go on forever like this,
Yeah.
like about this book, that he realizes that Renly isn't answering her phone and is only texting, which is like odd. And then like Christine and May are late to show up to Mitchell's and they're not answering either.
Yeah.
And it like starts to like he starts to like put it together, right? And so
Yeah.
Derek goes to like the police outside of Mitchell's house and he's like trying to get that like one cop because one's sleeping and he's like it's his sleep shift and like first you're like oh okay well that seems normal
Yeah.
like no mm-mm. I'm like oh right behind you axe to Mitchell by Marin
That
or Daisy. I know that hurt me. I
that
was
hurt
not
me
happy.
so much. I was like, not Mitchell.
I
I really
know.
thought Mitchell was gonna like pull through,
I thought
help
he
him
was
out
going to
throughout the
save the
way.
day. I thought Mitchell was going to be our man to come in and save the day.
I
Although
remember like
like
I shut my Kindle. I was like, Nick, I have beef.
you son of a bitch. But that's when we learned that like that cop Hoffman is no good.
No, because he was the brother of what's his face in
Yeah,
the
let me
first book
I had to write this down. Okay, yeah,
that his
so
dad died, like
his
killed.
brother was Ron, and
Ron.
like Hoffman thinks that Brian, Derek's dad, killed his brother Ron,
Yeah.
um, in a shooting.
Yeah.
And he
I
has
mean,
like
he
partial
did.
footage from Marin of the shooting, but like Derek kind of like argues this with him in the car, but it's
Mhm.
kind of like it don't really matter at
No.
this point because like this cop is so like hell bent on like getting revenge that like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Um, it's cool how because Derek never saw Marin Daisy in the way that May does, where she sees
Yeah.
Daisy and a demon.
Yeah.
And like the demon does these like bad things, and Daisy is like the princess, and she'll take you to the land of princesses or what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, because then you get then we get to Renly's POV. She's tied up in the basement or whatever,
yeah,
and May is in a cave. She's like, "You're the missing girl. Like, what's going
yes,
on?" She's like, "The demon, like,
the demon.
the demon put me in here. I was naughty." And she's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Daisy will get me out." And it's like, "Oh, honey."
She
But then
tries
we
telling
really
her
get to
like
see
they're one and the same.
but then you really get to see when Renly's like telling the little girl, like, you just gotta kick that cage open, like we gotta get out of here, like you gotta do your best. But
Hmm.
she also understands. But then May is seeing Marin just like beat the shit out of her. And she like her
This
jaws gone, like
demon,
not gone, but like broken, everything.
the leg, all of it. And May does escape to her credit, but she
Yeah.
is still very, very confused. She thinks they are two different people. And
Especially she's
like,
8.
yeah, she's fairly
She's
young.
young.
Yeah, and like next scene is like Hoffman goes into the house and like leaves Derek in the car. And Derek sees May trying to like shuffle around and he's like, oh shit. Like
Yep.
I gotta save this kid. And
Yeah,
he
he's like,
remembers
let me
like
out of this car and let's go.
yeah, and so he goes and he like gets in Mitchell's truck 'cause he remembers he like always keeps that thing on him
Yeah.
in case he's in
Underneath the seat.
yeah, so he goes and he gets that and he's like, May, you got to be quiet. And she's like, no, I'm gonna come with you and whatever. So she ends up following him in the house, but like at the same time, we're seeing Renly's POV of her
Yeah.
like waking up, of being drugged. She's in a different outfit. She is
Yep.
like giggling. She is so messed up. Dude
So
across from
loopy.
her is dead. I assume is Mitchell, also dressed up. And
Yeah.
then Marin's like, get dressed to like the cop, and he's like trying to like put these
Like it's
clothes on that
time.
don't fit him. Yeah, and it's clearly a setup to like dinner with Derek's family, right? And it's
Yep.
like,
Because
oh my
Renly was
God. But
like his mom, and then Mitchell was the dad, and then the cop was Ellie's. brother. That's what he's
Yeah,
wrestling.
and because who else? They killed somebody else. Oh, okay, here it is. Derek sees what Marin set up, showing Mitchell as his dad,
Hmm.
Renly as his mom, Hoffman as the Uncle
Uncle.
Scotty, and Christine as his
Right.
mom's sponsor, Barb. Okay.
Barb.
So, but
Right.
like Christine is like still alive from what I recall. Maybe not, but
No, no,
I
no,
thought,
because she like got shot. Like she was not alive.
okay, all right, well, that's a bummer. But I mean, everybody dead except for Hoffman and
Renly.
Renly, and then
But
Hoffman all of a sudden is just like,
he's like, now it's time, and she's like, do it, do it. And so he's
yeah,
trying. He's
Marin's
like,
like,
I
do it,
can't. I
and
don't know if I
Renly's
can.
over here like,
Huh? Like what's going on? Because like Hoffman stabs himself, and he's like, I can't move. He's in pain, and so Marin's like, let me help you, and shoves the table. So it really, and so he like eviscerates himself
yeah, and then his guts fall on the floor, and she like picks up his
on this
intestines, like
plate.
puts them on the table, and dude, Renly is just like so fucked
Like,
up. She's like laughing about it, and it's like not a laughable situation, and you're like,
oh,
I'm so stressed for all parties involved. Like,
and then Derek's over here with the gun, like yeah, he's still handcuffed because they couldn't get the keys, and he's trying to tell May like, just go around, go, and she's like, I'm gonna just do what I want.
just gonna do what I want.
I was
Yeah,
like,
and he's
that was
like, at this
trying to
point,
get
he
her
comes
out of
in
there
and because she has shifted from Marin to Daisy
at
at
this
this
point. Yeah,
point. And like Renly gets to see that shift, which is kind of
yeah,
cool that we like got to see it that way because it was much more descriptive this
yeah.
time.
And at this point now, like when they go into the door and May's kind of seeing things too, it's like Derek has to put that hard truth of like, you killed your mom.
Yeah, and like he
Mitchell's
knows he
dead.
is delivering a really hard truth and he's struggling delivering it, but he's like, I don't know, like, what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
Like, we're all gonna die if
yeah.
she doesn't get it together, this little
Hmm.
kid. And like, so Derek's got a gun pointed at Daisy, May's got a gun pointed at Derek
Derek.
because Daisy is not Marin, the demon, it's Daisy.
Yep. And he's like, go
So
look at your mom. Go look at that lady. Look what's
go
like,
look at
oh, she's
grandpa and at your
sleeping. She's
mom.
sleeping. No, no,
Mm-mm.
she's not. I think like I will say too, because like that whole scene kind of goes pretty quick, and then it ends with him shooting Daisy Marin because
Mhm.
like he he does like a flip on her to like
Yes,
get her to like really get frustrated and break, and so then he finally
because he's
shoots her
like,
in
I
the
forgive
head.
you.
Yeah,
He's
but
like, I forgive you for what you are, like a
yes,
disease. And he will,
yes.
like, that's when he's like, I'm breaking the cycle. Pow, pow.
And like, am I?
No, Renly blows his head off, blows Marin's head off, I
Was it Renly
think.
or was it Derek? Oh no, because Derek gets injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, not gonna lie, when I read that, I was like, that's it. That just shot to the head. That was it. I was like, aw. I was kind of hoping for more of like a gruesome death for her because she fucking deserves it. So I
She
was a
does
little,
deserve it, that
yeah, I was
crazy
like a
bitch.
little disappointed. Oh,
Well, and then we see, like, in the end, right, he's at the hospital with Renly, and she's like, you can call me Ellie. Which
yeah.
is crazy that her name is the same as his mom's,
Was
and
it Ellie or Ella?
it's Ellie. Her
Ah.
name is Eleanor,
Oh,
but
right, right,
her
right.
friends call her Ellie or whatever.
Yes.
Um, and then he goes to the bathroom and he's like, I know Marin's gonna be in the reflection, like when I look up, and he's like, she's still there, but like doesn't control me anymore. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so was she real? Is she
I want to say, like, I believe that yes, she's real because obviously all these other people wouldn't die, and like they were cops. Ellie, um, Renly was a cop. She went through that experience, so like it's not all made up in all of their heads. But I think what
No,
he was
for
referring to
sure.
are like her essence, her like being, I guess, is always going to haunt him until he can
Okay,
fully heal. So
I'll
like
take that.
that was my thought on it.
I'll take no, that works for me.
Like, he's still gonna see her out of the corner because hello, PTSD and everything that she put him through. But I
Yes.
don't think that, like, I don't know if she's gonna come back, though I think she is,
I
honestly.
think I think she might end up coming back.
Because that's my whole thing too. Was like, you're just gonna shoot her. She is like this demon. She is this entity, like from the Exorcist house, and now we're going to be getting Exorcist house resurrection, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, she's gonna come back and play because that's where it all started, you know.
It
And so like,
has to.
I can't like be too upset that she only got shot in the head. So I'm like, okay,
Well, yeah, because we're gonna need a little bit more, so that's fine.
yeah. So I'm like, I don't.
As long as she makes a reappearance, that's
Yeah,
fine.
because like if that's just how she died, come on, come on. I know you
Get
got blood
out of
gore
here.
in you. I know you got like, and I bet there's other reasonings of like that's how it needs to end, that's how it needs to be. But I'm like, she deserves the worst. Put her in a wood chipper. Like,
Put her into wood chipper. I mean, like, I don't
I
know,
want
at
her
least like
eviscerated.
put a priest over her or something and like
Honestly, that's why I'm like, I
get it
don't think
together,
is a
girlfriend.
is a one bullet gonna be enough. Like, yes, it's in the head, but like she's also I feel she's also like a demon, like part demon, a little
Right. So
with a
that's
sprinkle of human, but like she can come back from that.
yeah, see, and that's where I struggle. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think he means to do that.
I think he means to do that too. Nick, you
Uh,
about to hear us in the group chat, homie.
nah. But
Nick,
hey, I
tell me
said
all the secrets.
anathema.
And then
I
he's
said
just instead
anathema, right? So from there,
he's gonna be
I
like,
have exceeded my own life skills. I don't know. I don't, that was shenanigans.
oh, oh, yeah, no,
Overall, I don't I would give it like
I gave
solid
it a
5 out
five.
of 5. Yeah, I mean
I give it
it's
a five because like a lot of his books, there's only been one. I think I've given all of his stuff a five except for the It Haunts the Mind, just because there were some that I liked and some that I didn't.
some yeah, cuz and that was different too cuz it's mixed books, right?
Yeah,
It's not just one story, it's multiple stories. So I think that's
yeah,
totally valid, but
yeah. But
yeah,
like his
5 out of
books always
5.
hit for me, man. They do.
Solid
It is like
spooks,
being
solid
completely
gore.
and he knows that like we give completely like honest reviews and what we like to read, but his books, like if you really want to get into horror and just have that feeling of dread and things like that, like he does such a fantastic job. Mean
He
Spirited
really does.
and the Exorcist House, like my favorite top, like that's what really stood for me. And then
Mean-Spirited
Mean
and
Spirited a
Exorcist House
second.
are like almost a tie for me. I liked Mean-Spirited. Like that was a book that I have never been that scared in my entire life
Dude,
reading a book
like and
before.
you know me, like I read books typically at night. And
Yes.
I could not read Mean Spirited at night. Exorcist House, I could. It was giving me the creeps,
But not
but like I
enough to where
didn't
you
have to fully put it down. But with
yeah.
Mean Spirited, oh,
And then he brought up the panda again and I was like triggered back to Mean-Spirited. I was like, "No,
there's
don't
a
take me
panda
back
now.
there. I'm not ready to reread it yet. It's been like a year and I'm still not ready."
Still not ready. Conehead, what the hell? And it's like it doesn't help. Like if you have dogs, it doesn't matter if they're a golden retriever or not. It's still like because then they, they all dogs do it. They give you a turn. They look at you funny, and you're like, "What are you?"
Yeah, like what are you looking at? What's
I'm
going
waiting for like a whole
on?
skinwalker situation.
It's giving not.
It's giving
Not what I
no.
want. It's giving no. It's giving a lot of no.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, like if you guys really like to have that feeling of dread and that horror esque, like if you like the different stories of it, then definitely read It Haunts the Mind because those stories were different each
And
time.
they
So
were
you'll find something
good.
you like.
Yes.
So
Dead End Tunnel, man.
Dead End Tunnel. That was a good one too.
That was my favorite of the group, especially because we got to see, I know we've talked about it, but he like drove by
Yes.
like his
That
inspo, and
was
I was like, that's
cool.
crazy because that's what I imagined. You did such a great job writing it. I envisioned it exactly how it looks.
That
Like,
gave like what did I say? Like that gave like a Leviathan H.P.
yes.
Lovecraft type of feel. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So honest reviews, Some we like, some we don't, but the majority of it, uh-oh.
We do. And we'll tell you if we
I'm like,
don't.
yeah,
We'll tell you
yeah,
if we don't.
and he knows this, and then he gives us shit.
Anathema. It's anathema to
Anathema.
me. It's anathema to me.
It's anathema.
Wait, no, it's anathema. I was like,
Anathema.
girl, don't mess me up. I know it's not anathema.
I
I
know.
know that now.
Anathema.
Anathema.
We got it.
I love that I can say like the longest words in the dictionary, but
Oh
I
yeah.
cannot say this word, so that's great.
Cool, cool, cool.
But yeah, it was a great book, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
My little millennial me.
Oh
All right,
God.
bye.
Cringe. You have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.